You want to make 2025 the best year of your life. I have a feeling we've been here before, haven't we? It's like every year starts the same, full of energy, goals written down, this unshakable belief that this year will be different. But then reality kicks in. Here's the hard truth. Studies show that about 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by the second week of February. Yup, the second week of February. Why does this happen? Are we just not disciplined enough? Do we set unrealistic goals, or is there something else going on? Well, here's the deal. It's not about working harder or wanting it more. It's about building habits the right way. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create habits that stick so you can make 2025 the most productive year of your life. So watch until the end, because I'm breaking this down into simple, actionable steps that will transform the way you approach your goals. Let's make this year the one where you finally follow through. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Why New Year's resolutions almost always fail. So let's talk about why New Year's resolutions almost always fail. What we're really saying when we set these big goals is, I don't like how things are going right now, and I want to make a change. So overnight, I'm going to completely reinvent myself. But then 2 weeks later, we're back where we started. Sound familiar? The problem is we're trying to force these massive overnight changes, and it just doesn't work like that. Think about a rubber band. When you stretch it too far, too quickly, what happens? It snaps right back. That's exactly what happens with us. We set these massive goals. I'm going to go to the gym every day, quit sugar completely, meditate for an hour, and start a side hustle. And we stretch ourselves too far, too fast. Before we know it, we snap back to our old habits. The truth is, human beings aren't wired for instant transformation. We're only sustainable when we focus on making one small change at a time. That's it. Just one. So if you've ever felt like a failure for not sticking to your New Year's resolutions, it's not you. It's the process. You're trying to sprint before you've even learned to walk, but don't worry, we're going to fix that. Stick with me. Chapter 2, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. Let's talk about the power of tiny changes. Because here's the thing, real transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, consistent actions that compound over time. Let me share a story with you. Back in the early 2000s, the British cycling team was struggling. They hadn't won a single Tour de France in over 100 years. But then they brought in a new coach, Dave Brailsford, who introduced a concept called marginal gains. The idea was simple. Improve every process by just 1%. They changed the seats on their bikes, adjusted their diets, even figured out the best way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick. They started winning a lot. Over the next decade, they dominated the sport. This is the secret to success. Small changes may not seem like much at first, but over time, they lead to remarkable results. Valley of Disappointment. Here's where most people quit. The Valley of Disappointment. You put in the work, but you don't see the results right away. And it's frustrating, right? But here's the truth. Progress takes time. It's like planting a tree. It takes months or even years before you see the first fruit. But that doesn't mean nothing's happening beneath the surface. The airplane analogy. Here's another way to think about it. If a pilot changes the heading of an airplane by just a few degrees, the plane ends up in an entirely different destination. That's what tiny changes do in your life. Shift your habits just a little today, and your future could look completely different. Don't focus on the scoreboard. Now imagine you're in a basketball game. If you keep looking at the scoreboard every 5 seconds, are you going to play better? Of course not. Instead, you focus on the game itself, your passing, your shooting, your defense. The same goes for your habits. Instead of obsessing over results, focus on the systems that lead to those results. Systems over goals. Here's an example. Let's say your goal is to have a clean room. You clean it once and it looks great, but 2 days later, it's a mess again. Why? Because you don't have a system. Now imagine instead that you create a system. Every day, you spend 5 minutes putting things back where they belong. Over time, the room stays clean and it's effortless. The key is to focus on building systems, not just setting goals. Systems make the process automatic and sustainable. They're what keep you on track long after motivation fades. So don't underestimate the power of small, consistent changes. Focus on your systems, stick through the valley of disappointment, and let those tiny changes take you to a place you never thought possible. All right, now that we know the power of tiny changes, let's get into the practical part. How to make habits stick once and for all. Building lasting habits isn't about motivation. It's about creating an environment and system that makes the habits almost effortless to maintain. First, let's talk about what the 4 laws of behavior change. from Atomic Habits. 1. Make it obvious. The first step is to make your habits visible and easy to start. If you want to drink more water, keep a glass of water on your desk. If you want to work out, lay out your gym clothes the night before. The idea is to eliminate as much friction as possible so that the habit becomes a natural part of your day. One powerful tool here is habit stacking. Pair the habit you want to build with something you're already doing. For example, after I brush my teeth, I'll do 10 push-ups. After I make my morning coffee, I'll write in my journal for 2 minutes. By attaching a new habit to an existing one, you're more likely to remember and follow through. 2. Make it attractive. Let's face it, we stick to habits that feel rewarding. To make your habits stick, find a way to make them enjoyable. For example, if you're trying to build a habit of running, create a killer playlist that you only listen to when you run. Or if you want to read more, choose books that genuinely excite you. Another strategy is temptation bundling. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. For instance, only watch your favorite show while folding laundry. Only enjoy your morning coffee while reviewing your to-do list. By linking a habit to something you already love, it becomes something you look forward to. 3. Make it easy. The biggest mistake people make is trying to do too much too soon. Instead, focus on the 2-minute rule. This means that when starting a habit, make it so small that it feels impossible to fail. Want to read more? Start by reading just 1 page a day. Want to get fit? Start with a 2-minute walk. Once the habit becomes automatic, you can naturally scale it up over time. But in the beginning, the key is simplicity. 4. Make it satisfying. Finally, to make a habit stick, you need to make it feel rewarding. Humans are wired to repeat actions that give immediate rewards. So create a way to celebrate small wins. Use a habit tracker and check off each day you complete the habit. Seeing those streaks build up is incredibly motivating. Give yourself a small treat for staying consistent, like watching a favorite show after a productive day. The important thing is to make the habit feel good in the short term while working toward long-term rewards. The importance of identity. One of the most powerful insights from Atomic Habits is that habits stick when they become part of your identity. Instead of saying, I want to work out more, say, I am someone who prioritizes my health. Every small action you take reinforces that identity. Each workout, no matter how small, is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. Environment is everything. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of your environment. If your surroundings don't support your goals, it's much harder to stick to habits. Want to eat healthier? Remove junk food from your kitchen. Want to focus better? Set up a clutter-free workspace. By designing an environment that naturally supports your habits, you're setting yourself up for long-term success. Summary: to make habits stick, focus on these principles. Make them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Build systems, not just goals, and focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally does the things you aspire to do. So, there you have it, a complete roadmap to making 2025 the most productive year of your life. It's not about setting massive goals or relying on bursts of motivation. It's about small, consistent actions that compound over time. Let's recap. Understand why resolutions fail. Big overnight changes aren't sustainable. Focus on gradual progress instead. Embrace tiny changes for remarkable results. Small improvements, like the British cycling team's approach, can lead to incredible transformations. Focus on systems, not just goals. Make your habits stick. Use the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. And most importantly, let your habits shape your identity. Remember, this process isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. You might not see results right away, and that's okay. Stick with it, trust the process, and watch how these small, intentional changes reshape your life over the next year. Now it's your turn. What's one small habit you can start building today? Let me know in the comments, and let's hold each other accountable. Here's to making 2025 your most productive, fulfilling, and transformative year yet. You've got this.